So if you haven't seen part 1, check it out, where we rank all the LF characters in Dragon Ball Legends. The like goal for today's video is going to be 1,000, so if you enjoy the video, be sure to click that button, change the button blue, and help us hit our goal for today. I greatly appreciate you. Happy New Year's, and let's hop right in with the Ultra rankings. So inevitably, Ultra rankings, character rankings, tier lists are always kind of confusing for a lot of people because of criteria. Are you ranking based off of character kits, like abilities, the things that they literally themselves do? Are you trying to rank it based off of the meta and how relevant said character is in the current meta, which is a very volatile list if you do it that way, because you can have a lot of changes based on like one big release coming in and shaking things up, and all of a sudden, like right now with UI popping in, all of a sudden reds have a lot more value than they did right before he released, where characters like Goku and Bardock and Janemba and that was kind of going on. But I try to personally try to consider both things. It's kind of hard to do and probably is a little bit of a cheap way out. You probably also should not do that, but more or less try not to argue over my list. My list is my opinions, and I want to hear what you guys think down below. Post your opinions for the top 5 Ultras in Dragon Ball Legends currently and your reasoning for the rankings. Last time I did one of these was with the anniversary in Vegito Blue, so I'm excited to do this one starting with the new year of 2024. So we're gonna work in this order. Janemba is going straight up to the top. By the way, I'll probably move these around. I may also add in between tiers. I saw a tier list that had like 10 designations, like based off of mine, I would add an S+, an A+, like just in between ones, right? And I typically always mention that, but I don't like doing it because I think it can get kind of convoluted if you do it that way. But inevitably, I probably will, and probably I think people should, because I think that there's a lot of characters that aren't technically on the same tier, but if you don't have those extra spots, then they kind of wind up looking like they're on the same tier type deal. Anyway, we're gonna start Janemba there as what, the second best Ultra in the game right now. It's probably right. We'll get to that as we go. Rosé is next on our list. Kind of tricky character. I think his mechanics are still pretty interesting. He's also still super duper annoying, but he is a little bit power crept. He is a little bit falling on hard times. The game has caught up to him by a lot, and he is not able to be as oppressive as he once was. There's more character immunities that can bypass his stupid shenanigans. Oh my god. But inevitably, he does still have the ability to be a high damage character with all the specials and stuff that he throws. And so I'm going to place him at A currently. And again, we reserve the right to change that as we go. Post your comments down below about Rosé. I actually did a video where I talked about the best characters for each color. And I kind of was annoyed with myself because I didn't think about it till after. I personally ranked Rosé a little bit too high in that video. I left a pinned comment later and I said I would probably move Rosé down like 2 or 3 spots. I was giving him credit for what he was on release, but it's been like 6 or 7 months, right? So like, that's not where we are right now. And so bouncing off of that, we're going to Super Vegito. He's going in the same placement for now, and like I said, for the last time, I'll probably move some of these around a little bit. I think that Super Vegito is a character that's still very useful, but I think he has legitimate competition on Fusion Warriors with Gotenks. Maybe I'm just a little too high on that Gotenks because I love Gotenks. I wanted a failed Fusion Gotenks just in general. That's our first one. And I definitely love a teen Gotenks, even though it's not the teen Gotenks we all want, really, but I'll take it. Maybe I'm too high on him, but I do love the way that this guy functions. That guy functions on the team with the utility and stuff like that. And I've always said in my videos that I don't know that you need a multitude of win conditions, like, hard-hitting characters, a bunch of characters like that try to just beat the opponent down. I don't know that you need that. I think there's always room for a support or a utility character and things like that. So Super Vegito is kind of a character that has some utility with the endurance and stuff like that. His gauge is okay. My problems with his gauge is that that's the only spot he gets to nullify. When you look at his kit and all the draw speed and the combos and blah blah blah, the green card, he kind of needs that nullify, but he just doesn't have it. And so in a climate where characters nowadays are permanently with it, like UI, I don't know if UI does in particular, but VB, things like that, I have to go back and look at UI. He's too new. It's kind of weird. It's kind of hard for characters to kind of exist and still be super duper relevant. Also, another reason why I like Gotenks better is that he's not an Ultra. Now, hear me out. Being a 1% Sparking versus being a 0.35 Ultra that is on crappy banners just sounds better. Like, it's one of those things where, like, you got a character, probably, I have this guy at 5-star. He himself and all the other Ultras, every character in the game is going to get much better at higher stars. But what does it cost, though? Right? But what does it cost? You get my point? Like, Gotenks can be equally good, much easier. So, Anyway, moving on. That's where I'm going to rank him for now. I am gonna put you in C, which means I'll need one more for below. Nah, I think I'll just leave the characters and start. You know who they are. I think I'll just leave them there. Kaioken Goku is kind of disappointing to me. He's a character that has the baseline of a really good character. Let me show you something here. Shout out to Hydros, because last time I did a video, this wasn't there, and I reached out to him and I was like, yo, I need this functionality added. And he added it to where you can see all the equips that are added. So I just want to say, Kaioken Goku's been getting plats out the you-know-what lately, dude. Like, so many of these plats have released in just like the last couple of months. It's insane. So, and they're really good ones too. Like this one here, I like this a lot. Extra damage if the character is yellow, can only be on a Super Saiyan God Super Saiyans from Universe Survival Saga. Hello, Kaioken, right? Double attack, health restoration, blast, key recovery, excuse me, and then extra damage. This one here that also just recently came out, double defense, health restoration, and 35% blast. Like that a lot. Sun Family ones, he can also use these on the Sun Fam team if you really wanted that. This is a really good one for any Saiyan now. If you have Goku and Bardock specifically, you want multiple of these just in general. This UI specific, well, UI equip, you know, that came out with UI Goku fits perfectly on him. Ultimate damage, double defense. Like he may have like a top 5 roster of equips. Like this dude's got some, and that's not even talking about all of these awoken equips. Like this guy has a really nasty roster of equips, and it's unfortunate because he still is kind of just here. Like he doesn't, you know what he is? He's the product of releasing too damn early in the game. That's what it is. If this guy released right now with this kit, but, you know, power, like modified to accommodate the power, you know, balance that we have, he'd be perfect. It's so funny because he just missed the boat. Universe Survival got a year-long buff from January to December. Every couple of months they release something new for that team. And by the time they started dropping characters early, like this time last year, he was already out of the meta. He was already power crept. Like he was just a beat too early, man. Like if he drops mid-year this year, then all of a sudden, like I said, he's much better. The reason he's disappointing though is because I got some good use out of him. He was actually super duper toxic, by the way. People don't like this guy because he was super toxic. What are your experiences with him? But like, he was one of the first characters that's at 110% flat, 50% damage cut. By the way, these are super power crept because UI, I think, is 150 and 60. Like, super power crept already. Well, it's not like he's over a year old, right? So anyway. Whenever he fills the gauge, he draws the green, gets all these various buffs. I didn't like the restricting of them. Up to 80, could have been up to 120. Like if he came out today, it probably is at least, that has to be 120 because they're multiples of 40. But yeah, 120, things like that. The health restoration is solid. The vanishing gauge restoration is solid. The damage cut is okay. 25% until next combos finishes, blech, right? Especially trying to use this character today. But also, Nullify cover change is kind of wonky on him. He doesn't have it anywhere but the main ability, if I recall correctly. It's for a long time of 30 counts. But again, if he released today, he'd have it there, and then he'd have it on the green or something like that. And so what we've seen is, we've seen him basically be the baseline for other Ultras that release or other characters. Like, Ultra Vegito Blue is like this guy, but like V2, right? But just, again, much better. So anyway, also the tag Goku Vegeta that released recently, Super Saiyan Blues, is this guy but better, and they're not even an Ultra. So like, he's just kind of unfortunate. Had his day, but it is what it is. Kid Buu. So here's the deal with Kid Buu. Kinda. So Kid Buu was the best character in the game, and it wasn't really close when he released. That was about, I think, April 30th. And then this guy releases mid-June? Mid-July, one of those two. And absolutely pushes Kid Buu out of the meta. And so the funny thing is, Kid Buu, after that, a couple of months later, got a very strong teammate on the regen/powerful opponent team, which then makes Kid Buu more usable again. And to this day, Kid Buu is still, as you would imagine, more usable than he was when Vegito Blue released, because like I said earlier, meta shifts matter a lot, and Kid Buu is an okay character to use right now. He's still got that mechanic where, like, if he lands the green card on you, you're pretty screwed. And the problem with this, though, is that, like, yeah, you're probably pretty screwed, but the problem is that, like, again, another power crept character, because the power creep has been so massive over the last couple of years, and also his gauge is kind of wonky, the way he kind of works with the gauge. But if he has the gauge, you're absolutely screwed, because he's going to do the no-switch shenanigans, if I recall correctly, and all that stuff. So Kid Buu is, like, a character that is a little old, because he's, like, 7 months older. God damn, time flies. Jeez, bro. He's not, it's like 6.5 or something like that. Time flies, bro. My God. You ever just sit back and think about that? This year went so fast, man. Anyway, or 2023, I guess. Can't say this year anymore, last year. So anyway, he's a character, though, that peaks super duper high. I think he's definitely better than some of the other characters on our list, like Rose and Vegito Blue, or Vegito, excuse me. So I'm going to put him in S. But actually, I want to pull up his teams really quick. I'm going to be honest. I haven't seen Kid Buu in a match in a long time. Powerful opponents stacked with ultras. My God. Stacked with ultras. Are you using Kid Buu over Yellow Jiren? I guess maybe on this team, yeah. Obviously, Regen is his own thing. So we'll look at Regen. Yeah, Regen's fine. You just don't really see it. You know why? Because you see a lot of these characters exported elsewhere, right? Because like the best Regen team is what? Piccolo and Janemba, right? For the best strike-based Regen team as his teammates. And you have great color synergy there, green, yellow, blue. It's just you see movies, right? You don't see that specifically. So, that's probably, at least I don't, like I said. But Kid Buu is really, really strong. Like I said, he's a character that could peak super high on this list. Broly's going in C. It's unfortunate because I actually also really like Broly. Broly was the first Ultra. Like I said earlier, all characters in the game get better when they get more stars. But Broly was the first Ultra that I really, really thought like absolutely 110% needed more stars. Why? Because he's got this gimmick where he wants to eat hits and stuff like that. And I'm sorry, but you can't reliably do that in this game with the way offense and defense are balanced. Spoiler, they're not. Defense is terrible in relation to offense in this game. You can't do that in this game without high stars and also good equips, obviously. So like Broly's in a weird spot, but if he was able to kind of pop off, his gauge is really solid. He's got one of the best cover change abilities in the game. And then he turns around to try to be an offensive character because he is a melee type. But the problem with that is that he doesn't really have enough offense to boot. He's got 110 to start, which again, at the time was really good. Nowadays it's a low power cut, but still, so like, here's the deal. 110 is still incredible versus 99% of the game, right? It's not really what you start with. It's all the other buffs that you get in aggregate in all the other places. What are you getting when you enter the battlefield? What are you getting when X happens, Y happens, Z happens? What are you getting in all these different areas? Your green card. What are you doing? Like, that's your main ability. Where are you getting other damage buffs? That's what matters with the characters mostly. But as a flat, 110 is still like the second, like what, the second highest bonus in the game? I don't know that there's a 120. Maybe there's a 120. So anyway, yeah, he's got like this gimmicky like offensive playstyle after that, where he likes to try to spam the green card to get the vanish back and all that stuff. And then his blue cards will do good damage. His ult hits pretty hard too, has a faint chance on it. Explode damage that does 50% extra ultimate damage on there. He's got some stuff, but inevitably he's a character that probably would, again, was just a little bit too soon. And also he's got his own little equip. They've been like putting these equips out that are like pseudo equips for like specific ultra characters as opposed to actually giving them ultra unique equips. So he's got health, double attack, special move, and if the character is a powerful opponent, they also get 20% more damage inflicted. This can only be used on Super Saiyans, not Saiyans or Super Saiyan 2s, or Super Saiyan 1s from Sagas in the movies. Then if we look at, oh, I don't have that open here. There's not very many Super Saiyan characters from Sagas in the movies, and very few of them, in fact, I'm pretty sure none of them are anything but Broly. Right, that have powerful opponent. So if they've got powerful opponent, they're a Broly, Super Saiyan, obviously from the movies. So yeah, it is what it is. This is only going to be used on Broly, so that's pretty much for him. This equip here, I like it for the health and cut as well. Defense against Saiyans is surprisingly relevant, but nonetheless, kind of just is what it is with this guy. I'm not really sure in particular what the plan is with him in the future, or ultras in general like him. I like him. I like his design. I like the way he tries to shut you down with his gauge. You know what? If Broly came out today, he would have, I think he would be super good. More than Kaioken Goku. I think Broly might have been a victim of coming out too soon, because I think his mechanic lends itself really, really well to arts power debuffs, more disruption on the gauge, things like that. The problem with the gauge is that he can get it multiple times, right? It activates 4 times. Goodness. Allow him to take 1 Dragon Ball off. Now that probably goes to 2. Destroys 1 enemy card. Today turns into at least 2. Probably the full hand. Like, things like that. Nullify cover changes here too. Oh yeah, I forgot that. I hate when characters get the nullify on passive actions that you're at neutral for. One thing that I did like doing with Broly, admittedly, was I would like having him chop the vanish and going for a full screen blast armor if I knew they couldn't switch. That's one of my favorite things, because they lose their vanish and you get the start of the combo, and even if they can switch, like in that combo he does have the nullify, admittedly, but I hate when characters get it passively like that. It's why I don't love Super Vegito's gauge either, especially when it's your only way of getting it, and I think that is Broly's only way, because like I said, it was somewhere around LF Piccolo, Orange Piccolo's release, that they decided to start putting it in multiple places. So I feel pretty confident that's the only way he gets it. Super Gogeta, the original summonable Ultra. He's like C+. I think he's like C+. Seriously. I'm going to put him in the front, but I think he's very easily C+. I'm not going to pull up his whole page, but he does have some stuff that still has aged very well. I mean, anytime you have no switch on a character, that, in my opinion, like if I were to do a video ranking no switch, or like ranking most broken abilities ever released in the game, I think no switch is like easily probably top 2. Like there's so many that are really strong, like positive bonuses, like, you know, reducing sub count, things like that, or inflicting sub count on enemies is like a debuff, things like that. There's so many things, paralysis, there's like so much stuff. And one thing that has always been meta relevant when we see it on characters, and we see it now on Goku, is the ability to stop the opponent from switching, because there's no counterplay to that. There's nothing they can do to that. There's nothing you might. It's the literal definition of put your phone down and wait. So anytime you have no switch on a character, that's super strong. And also, it just leads to the option to snipe a character too, because again, they can't do a damn thing about it. So anyway, that's there. He also does have those 2 ultimates. Was I think the second character in the game with that mechanic, maybe the first. I'm not sure if he came out before Trunks or not. And then also the ultimates do have the ability to do that long nullify endurance, which can catch the opponent off guard, but his damage isn't great. He has that mechanic where he likes to do the handful of strikes and then also get the blue card at the end. The blue card is annoying though, admittedly, because if I recall, it does destroy the whole hand. His green card does have the nullify, which is good there too, if I recall correctly as well. Been a long time since I used Oh Boy. But nonetheless, just power grip. He's like the type of character, Gogeta right there is like the type of character that I think if you have him at like 14 stars with the Zenkai buff, he could actually still cook pretty good. But beside that, probably not, right? So anyway, we're just gonna ignore Scouter Vegeta. Him, Goku, and Shenron are gonna just stay here. They're gonna get completely ignored because they're garbage. They actually, funny enough, I don't think Shenron does, but I'm pretty sure Goku and Vegeta actually literally have platinum equips. So, I mean, eventually they'll give us plats for the other ones, right? But like, yeah, these guys have literal ones that are only for them. ID number listed, yeah. So, yeah, I don't know, man. One day, right? I'm waiting for that first Ultra Zenkai. What about that? All right, so Ultra Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta. I think he's easily better than Kid Buu today. Though Kid Buu in a matchup 1v1 does absolutely destroy Gogeta, as you would imagine. Colors matter, right? But anyway, I think he's aged better, being that he's like, what, several months older? It's like 5 months older, something like that, right? Anyway, I think he's aged better. I think he's more usable today. I think he's a character that, don't make no mistake, he is power crept. Like, make no mistake. He is power crept by the climate today, and UI Goku absolutely rams that guy. Like, UI Goku destroys him. I thought he had a tough time. I'm gonna be honest. I thought he had a real tough time. Again, colors matter with UI Goku, by the way. But but it's more so the fact that with UI Goku, who we're gonna talk about next, you can't save the character. That's the most important thing. Is like characters like Gogeta or even Goku and Frieza, who are not on this list, but you can't save these characters. Gogeta may be able to save himself with the gauge, but if I'm being honest, Goku probably just 2 cards him anyway with a couple blasts before he even gets the gauge. So like, you know, like it's kind of weird. Like I was saying, I thought he was kind of struggling with Vegito because when card protection started popping up, he instantly got power crept and card protection was released because all of a sudden he couldn't destroy your strikes. And all of a sudden, his gauge lost. It's still really strong, but it lost a lot of value. I didn't talk about Janemba's gauge at all, by the way, because screw Janemba. I don't care about that guy. I hate him. Yeah, but yeah, he lost a lot of value, and Vegeta would just run him out the gym, basically. So there's that. Actually, in hindsight, given the things that I've been saying, I think Kid Boo's actually better now. And Kid Buu has honestly, admittedly, most likely been better the whole time, like individually. And that's not really a surprise. There is a gap in the release schedule. I think he's aged better, but I may be giving him brownie points based off of who he is, what he was, and the fact that the gauge is still, like I said, one of the best mechanics here. Like, he's easily, out of all the characters we've reviewed, aside from Janemba, he's easily got the best gauge, I think. I like Rosé's a bit. Broly's is solid. Yeah, he's easily got the best gauge. Dude, Ultra Super Gogeta's is the worst one here. Maybe Kid Buu's? But Kid Buu's is so strong if you have it. It's just so easy to lose. So anyway, I'll take it back. At first glance, I thought Kid Buu wasn't as good. I think this is one of those situations where I need another like plus in between or minus in between. Because I think I would move Kid Buu to S plus and have Gogeta as an S. That's what I would do. Left to right generally doesn't matter with me, but I'll just leave them there for now. Oh boy. The best character arguably in the game. Actually, I really think there's a really solid case between all the Legends Fest characters that released to be the best character in the game. Especially him and Gohan. And Gohan largely because of the way he interacts with this guy. But UI Goku, oh my god. I just gotta say, we're lucky that he can't trigger that stupid gauge that stops the strikes and stuff like that on a sidestep, because he would be OP as hell. So UI Goku does have some blind spots. I've been saying it in videos. Like, he is really oppressive. He is really strong, but he does have blind spots. He does have weaknesses. But they are ones that are hard to exploit with most characters. It's really interesting because I talked about it in the past, and I've had people say, yeah, Vegito Blue doesn't do anything to him. And I've experienced Vegito Blue versus UI, and I largely don't care about it. But I've also seen people that say that their UI is getting blasted, or their Vegito Blue is blasting UIs, and I'm just like, is it really though? Like, I don't know. Some of that's like obviously colors, right? Colors will inevitably always be a discussion because they matter so much. But I think some of that's also like a lot of variance. How many stars do these characters have? Equips these characters have? Team composition, battle rank. Like, there's so much variance when you hear about people's experiences with certain characters. But personally, in my experience with UI, he's got that defensive neutral and stuff like that, so he doesn't really struggle with most things. He also has damage drop that he's doing, or damage cut that he's doing with the Awaken Arts, or with the Arts Power debuffs. And then if you're using him on Universe Survival with 17, he just absolutely tanks so well, even against the one blind spot that he has, which is primarily special move cards, just the regular blue cards, not ultimates, but the regular blue cards, because 17 actually covers that, and 17 doesn't have to be on the battlefield, 17 doesn't have to switch in or get hit or anything like that. Switch 17 just literally has to be present. And he chops that damage. And so all of a sudden, UI Goku's not really experiencing the same downsides. That's why I said, like, there's a lot of variance. I'm using UI Goku on God Key because he's nowhere near as good on God Key as he is on Universe Survival with 17, because 17 covers his, so well. So that's kind of it. But nonetheless, UI Goku's mechanics are super duper strong. He does have some gimmicky stuff that I'm not sure is going to age it the best, like needing to have XYZ happen to get certain mechanics that other characters otherwise have or will get easily on, like a green card or something like that. But I do think currently the ability to lock, like, he does several things that are really strong, but I think the ability to lock right there that one time, and then I think when he's last man, he gets it again. That, and then also the ultimate draw is crazy. It's crazy, because like I said, it leads to sniping, and also you don't see it as much outside of like the tippy top higher rank play with this guy, but you can also have another character out there and then switch UI in, even if it's like type disadvantage or something, just because you can guarantee kill a character if you have the mechanics still up. Like, you'll draw an ultimate if they try to save the X character and you throw it. And UI Goku's mechanic to no switch is so oppressive on characters that are purple, because again, colors matter, yes, but because they get shredded, you can't save them. Like, Goku and Frieza get blown out. Oh my god, I experienced that from the opposite side the first time. But when I first realized it, it was when I was using Goku and Frieza, and I was like, wait a minute, this UI Goku absolutely he runs them, man. Goku and Frieza can peak so high, such a great good character, whatever. But if you have Goku in, you're getting 2-carded. If you have Frieza in, you're probably getting 3-carded. You may be okay, all that variant stuff, but you're probably getting 2-carded. So anyway, best character in the game. Hit. Another S tier 1, I think. Hit kind of fell off a little bit, but I think with Universe Survival being so good, Universe Rep, all that stuff being so good, he's back. The only problem that I have with him is that he's a melee character, right? He's a melee character. And that team is a fully, I don't have Hit, by the way. And that team is a fully like blast-based team for the most part in terms of the best iterations of it. The other versions of the team would feature other characters like, you know, Goku and Frieza, maybe 17, maybe you're doing a mixed team, things like that. But that's like a subpar version of the team. Maybe actually I think the best version of this team is maybe even like the tag Super Saiyan Blues. Maybe you go that and like Goku Frieza, or you can plug in for that last spot 17, UI Goku, Kiawe. Like there's a lot of options for that last spot, but you definitely want him alongside a green to cover him. But if you're using Hit, the time skip is still a crazy mechanic, and also that mechanic allows Hit to absolutely deal with UI Goku and snipe him in much of the same way that I talked about how UI Goku can snipe too. It's just Hit is a little bit more like you have to wait for it. You also have to be very good with what you're doing. You have to time things right, pun intended, to get that to work the way you want it to work, right? You have to really know what you're doing, and you have to have good foresight. All that fits with the theme of Hit very well. But nonetheless, you have to know all that stuff to really get that to work right, because if somebody's expecting it, they just won't let you do it. That's the point. Not gonna apply to any character, by the way. Vegito Blue. This is another one I think that would be like, I think it would actually be S++, because I do think, I'm gonna put him in Z, but I don't think he's actually Z, like he's like Z- type deal. I don't think he's as good as the other two, but I do think he's better than all the other characters. Vegito Blue living with the nullified cover chains, basically, for the most part, there's a small window where he doesn't have it, but he picks it right back up if he keeps going. So anyway, you have to manage that very well. I've actually started waiting for that small window, and I get the knockback or whatever, drop the combo, stop the combo most of the time. It's that small period like where he's using, what, the 4th or 5th card where he doesn't have it. Anyway, so living with the nullified coverage for the most part, super strong. That green card, crazy strong. That ultimate with the tap mechanic, I'm surprised we didn't see it for Legends Festival, by the way, or like the strike version of that from the what that other mode, whatever that co-op mode, whatever it's called. Anyway, all that stuff. He does a crap ton of damage. He goes neutral as well when he drops low. He restores his health. He does so much garbage mechanics. Vegito Blue is crazy strong. And he draws that strike on entry, right? So he's just got to, if I recall correctly anyway, I always got to throw that caveat out there because these characters have paragraphs on paragraph on paragraph on paragraph on paragraph on paragraph. You forget stuff. But yeah, Vegito is insane. Seriously, he's insane. The only reason I think that Vegito is kind of sketchy is because I've seen other Vegitos and they aren't doing any damage. Like, again, maybe that variant stuff again, but I'm seeing a lot of Vegitos and he's not doing any damage. Now, my experience with Vegito was that he did good damage. But it could be variance thing with me too. So like, I don't really know. But every time I face him, I'm like, what is this guy even trying to do? Right? But again, could be variance thing. Vegito Blue Copers will tell you it is the variance thing, and that's all that matters, right? Other people that don't like Vegito Blue as much will say otherwise. Dude, there was a huge debate on this on one of my shorts the other day because I put up a clip of Vegito Blue doing absolutely nothing to UI Goku. And it was mostly a meme, by the way. And I even posted a pinned comment. I will never know how people can miss the pinned comment when they leave their own comment because it's always like right there. It's like the first thing that you see. Anyway, and also I'm somebody that would leave a comment and read all the other comments. That's me, right? So I don't know. Anyway. It started a whole like thing, bro. I just turned the comments off and I posted it in the description. I was like, you guys are arguing with each other too much. It's not that deep. This was a joke clip. But that was also an experience that I had. So that is everything because we're skipping those bottom feeders at the end. If you want to know the ranking for them, I guess, I would probably say Omega's the best one and then Vegeta being the worst one, probably, but I don't really care. I think this looks pretty good. I noticed we didn't use B tier. I guess I could just, you know, do that. Boom. There you go, B tier. I would make a Z-, put Vegito Blue there. I would make an S+, put Kid Buu there. I think A is fine. Yeah, I like that. I think that's fine. All right, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, check out the LF video. I'll see you all next time.